going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and welcome to this video lesson on the Double Paradiddle. This is rudiment number 17 from the Percussive Art Society's 40 Essential Rudiments. So in this video, you are going to learn how to play the Double Paradiddle, and then you'll play through a few exercises that will allow you to incorporate it into your playing. Can't wait to dive into this with all of you, so let's get started. If you have been following the Drum Essentials package on my website, you've already gone over a few rudiments, one of which was the single paradiddle. Now, when you are playing a single paradiddle, you are either playing the sticking pattern of right, left, right, or left, right, left. So notice that when you are playing a single paradiddle, you are playing a para followed by a diddle. Now, in order to play a double paradiddle, you just add an additional para to the beginning of a single paradiddle. So that means if you are starting with your right hand, your sticking pattern is now right, left, right. If you are starting with your left hand, that sticking pattern is left, right, left. Just like the single paradiddle, instead of thinking or saying out loud what hand you are playing, say this pattern instead. Para, diddle. Just like the single paradiddle, with a double paradiddle, anytime you say that para portion, you alternate your hands. And when you say the diddle portion, you play the same hand twice. So that means we have para, diddle, para, diddle. So now in this first exercise, you are going to play a double paradiddle in an eighth note subdivision. For those first two measures, you are playing through the double paradiddle pattern and then giving yourself 2 beats of rest. So in that first measure, you now have right, left, right, with 2 beats of rest afterwards. The second measure, you do the same thing, but you start with your left hand. Left, right, left, followed by 2 beats of rest. So for that first measure, make sure that you accent those 2 right hands. That way you are getting comfortable with this para, diddle pattern. Then, of course, for that second measure, accent the 2 lefts. Para, diddle. Now, for the third and fourth measure, you are doing the same exact thing you did in the first 2 measures. The difference this time is you are only accenting the first note of each double paradiddle. So for that third measure, you now have right, left. And the fourth measure, you have left, right. So let's give this exercise a shot. Gonna set the click at 80 BPM. Play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and. Now, with this first exercise, you are focusing on just getting comfortable with this pattern, para, diddle. That is why those first 2 measures, you are accenting it each time you play it. Para, diddle. Or para, diddle. There's a lot of discussions on how to play all the paradiddle rudiments correctly. Some folks say that you do add all of the accents, and some say that you don't. So to make sure everything is covered, you want to make sure that you're practicing playing this both with 2 accents and just 1 accent in the beginning. Para, diddle. Or para, diddle. Now moving on to exercise number 2. We are still playing double paradiddles, but this time we are playing them in a 16th note subdivision rather than an 8th note subdivision. So that means you are going to play a right-handed double paradiddle. You will then rest for the remainder of that measure, and then you will play a left-handed double paradiddle and rest for the remainder of that measure. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, and. Moving on to the third exercise, you're going to continue to play those double paradiddles in a 16th note subdivision. The difference this time is that you're only giving yourself an 8th note rest in between each time that you play. So for that first measure, you are going to play a right-handed double paradiddle, give yourself an 8th note rest, then play a left-handed double paradiddle. Give yourself another 8th note rest. You will then rest for an entire measure so you can reset and do the exercise again, starting with your left hand. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, and. So for exercise number 4, we are going to incorporate the double paradiddle into our playing. In this exercise, you are playing the rhythm 1 and 2, 3E and a 4E. So for that first measure, the 8th notes in the beginning are all with the right hand, followed by a double paradiddle for 3E and a 4E. The second measure is the same thing, but you play your left hand for the 8th notes, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle for 3E and a 4E. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, and. Moving on to exercise number 5, you are finally going to play 2 double paradiddles back to back with no breaks in between. That means the rhythm that you are playing is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So for the first measure, you are going to play a right-handed double paradiddle, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle, and then a quarter note with your right hand on beat 4. The second measure, you are then playing a left-handed double paradiddle, followed by a right-handed double paradiddle, and a left-handed tap on beat 4. Let's play it together. 1, 2, ready, and. Moving on to exercise number 6. It is the same concept as exercise number 5, except instead of playing a quarter note on beat 4, you are going to play 2 8th notes. So that means for this first measure, you have a right-handed double paradiddle, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle, and then 2 right-handed taps at the end. For the second measure, you have a left-handed double paradiddle, followed by a right-handed double paradiddle, and 2 left-handed taps at the end. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, and. Now with exercise number 7, you are going to play 4 double paradiddles in a row. So for those first 2 measures, you are going to play a right-handed double paradiddle, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle, another right-handed double paradiddle, and then a left-handed double paradiddle. For the remainder of that second measure, you are going to play 4 right-handed taps. Now for the next 2 measures, you do the same thing, but you start with your left hand. A double paradiddle with the left hand, a double paradiddle with the right hand, another double paradiddle with the left hand, another double paradiddle with the right hand, then 3 and 4 and is all played with the left hand. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, and. Now with all 7 of these exercises, your goal is to make sure that you can play this double paradiddle nice and smooth. If you are having a difficult time playing this pattern, focus on getting the sticking pattern correct first. Once you do that, then start to add the accents. Start off by playing 2 accents for each double paradiddle, and then eventually move on to play just 1 accent in the beginning. This is a perfect time in the lesson to pause the video and make sure that you're getting comfortable playing this double paradiddle. Once you are, hit resume and we'll continue. Okay, now it's time for our challenge. With this challenge, we are incorporating all of the rudiments that have been covered in this essentials package so far. The flam, the single paradiddle, and now the double paradiddle. So this challenge is 10 measures long. But like every other challenge, you are playing a specific rhythm, starting with the right hand, and then doing it again with the left hand. Then you move on to a new rhythm. So for the first 2 measures, you are playing the rhythm 1E and a 2E, 3 and 4. That means for those 16th notes in the beginning, it's a right-handed double paradiddle, followed by 3 left-handed flams for the first measure. That second measure is a left-handed double paradiddle, followed by 3 right-handed flams. Here's what it sounds like. 1E and a 2E, 3 and 4. 1E and a 2E, 3 and 4. Now for the next 2 measures, you are playing a full measure of 16th notes. Although you're playing straight 16th notes, you are going to play 2 double paradiddles followed by a single paradiddle. So for this first measure, you have a right-handed double paradiddle, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle, followed by a right-handed single paradiddle. Now for the 4th measure, you are playing a left-handed double paradiddle, followed by a right-handed double paradiddle, and then a left-handed single paradiddle. Here's what it sounds like. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Now for measures 5 and 6, you are playing the rhythm 1 and 2, 3E and a 4E. So for that 5th measure, you are playing a right-handed tap followed by 2 left-handed flams. You will then play a right-handed double paradiddle. 6th measure is the same rhythm but starting with the left hand. So you have a left-handed tap, 2 right-handed flams, followed by a left-handed double paradiddle. Here's what it sounds like. 1 and 2, 3E and a 4E, 1 and 2, 3E and a 4E. Now for the next 4 measures, you are playing a 2-bar loop. Now with these 2 measures, you are playing 16th notes throughout. To make it interesting, however, you are going to alternate between playing single and double paradiddles. So that means for these 2 measures, you're playing a single paradiddle, followed by a double paradiddle. You'll play a single paradiddle again, followed by another double paradiddle. You'll then wrap up by playing 3 single paradiddles in a row at the end. Here's what measures 7 and 8 sound like. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Now for measures 9 and 10, it's the same pattern, but you start with the left hand. Here's what it sounds like. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. This is a challenge though, right? So let's up that click to 125 BPM and give it all a shot. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. So now that you have played through all of the exercises, this is another great opportunity to pause this lesson and work on anything that we have gone over so far. Again, speed is not the end game here, it's consistency and accuracy. If you are practicing along with a metronome, anytime you play these exercises, start off nice and slow. Make sure you can play it a few times without making a mistake, and then up that metronome only by 5 clicks, do it again. Once you play through it a few times without making a mistake, up it again by 5 clicks, do it again. Continue that process and you'll see that over time you'll be able to play this stuff faster and faster. So now that you have played through a few exercises that incorporates the double paradiddle into your playing, let's start to experiment with the drum set. But start out by incorporating just the double paradiddle as either part of your fill or part of your groove. Then come up with some ideas where you incorporate both a single and a double paradiddle. Once you do that, then start experimenting with other rhythms and maybe some other rudiments. You just want to make sure that you continue to make everything sound musical rather than just piecing together a bunch of different rudiments. This is the part of the lesson where you get to improve on your improvisational and musicianship skills. So although I want you to be creative with this, here are a few examples just to get you started. So to recap, in this lesson, you learned how to play the double paradiddle. You started off by playing it with 2 accents, and then eventually moved on to playing just 1 accent. You played through a few different exercises to incorporate the double paradiddle into your playing, and then you saw a few examples on how to incorporate it into your playing on the drum set. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me on my website, and I'll try to help out any way that I can. If you liked this lesson, make sure that you visit the Drum Essentials section of my website, which has additional lessons on all of the 40 rudiments from the Percussive Arts Society, as well as technique fundamentals on how to hold the sticks in an open match grip, as well as some drum set fundamentals that will help you build a strong foundation to learn how to play the drum set. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope that you've learned something out of it, and until next time, see you later.